This North Carolina coaching search is interesting. So earlier today, a headline comes across the wire that you probably thought was fake, and it was Bill Belichick interested in, linked to, interviewing for the North Carolina head coaching position. And you're thinking, it's not an NFL team in Chapel Hill. That's true. They're talking about the Tar Heels job recently vacated by Mack Brown, involuntarily. Check which is appropriate, Jesse. This is probably not going to happen. So did some digging around on this for you today. I put on the investigative hat. I don't expect Bill Belichick to be the head coach at North Carolina. But I do want you to know that it's pretty muddy over there right now. I say over there because it's pretty parallel with Nashville, so it could be up there or down there for you. The situation at North Carolina is, yeah, it's nice to see a name like Bill Belichick attached to that job. Bill Belichick's not going to be the head coach at North Carolina. But I don't really know who is, because I don't think they know who is right now, because Bubba Cunningham, the AD over there, has got a lot on his plate. He's got a lot of resistance. You know, here's the plus side of having a guy like Mack Brown around is I love Mack Brown. The downside is a lot of other people love Mack Brown. And so when you get rid of him, there is still a lot of allegiance to Mack Brown. I saw, I think it was Godfrey earlier today that alluded to this, and everything he said is the same stuff I've heard. There's a lot of allegiance to Mack Brown still that is slowing that process down, that's providing a lot of resistance to Bubba Cunningham's process up there, the athletic director. There are people trying to insert names. Some of them you've heard of, like Belichick. A couple other ones that I'm not at liberty to share are totally out of left field and aren't going to get the job, but they're getting looks as a favor, as someone throwing their weight around. So the question from the legitimate list of contenders here is the same as it's always been around North Carolina. Are you as serious about college football as you think you are? Most people around programs think they're serious enough about winning. Most of them are wrong about that. Some of them are right. Some of them go over the cliff. They're all in. They literally give everything to try and win. It's not a guarantee they will, but they are all in. So when they lose, it's not because they're not invested enough. North Carolina's never been invested enough in football. Some people there know that. Other people need to be shaken and made aware of that. But then again, how do you tell someone else how to spend their money? You know, that's the age-old catch-22 in college football. There are a lot of good names here that are interested. A lot of them are public. It's not a matter of our guys interested in a job. The North Carolina job has always been attractive. I told you 2 weeks ago, it's more attractive than you would think it is. But at the end of any interview, or at the beginning of any interview, it's the same 4 or 5 questions that prospective candidates are going to ask and their representation is going to ask to gauge how serious you actually are about NIL structure, how serious you are about football investment, how serious you are about understanding football's got to drive the bus, not just over basketball. Basketball's always going to be a mainstay at North Carolina, but there are some other sports there that they take seriously. And God bless them for it. But there are some sports there that they take seriously, and they allocate some resources towards those sports. And if you play that sport, that's wonderful. These are the kind of sports that not a ton of people watch for entertainment purposes, and it does redirect some resource and attention away from football. That's a problem. If you're trying to get a guy that's in high demand, that's a problem. Our friends over at Inside Carolina right now have done a great job. They'll have several updates per day on this. Inside Carolina's one of the monster sites over in the 24/7 Sports Team Network site. And, I mean, they kill it on stuff like this. So they were the ones who reported the Belichick news earlier today. There's a list over there right now. I think Ben Sherman updated this earlier today. Belichick there. John Sumrall from Tulane is absolutely involved in this search. Not that you need it confirmed, but I'll confirm it for you. Glenn Schumann, the defensive coordinator at Georgia, yeah. Jeff Monken, Army head coach, yeah. Freddie Kitchens is there already, I believe. Kane Womack is the defensive coordinator at Alabama right now. Would not surprise me to see him get a look there. And Matt Campbell, the head coach at Iowa State, is very coveted. He should be. He's a really good coach. I think some of those guys In fact, a lot of those guys, if you listen to that list, are involved in conference championship games, some Friday, some Saturday. Some of them are going to make the playoff. Are you willing to wait if your guy makes the playoff? Because the right candidate is probably viewing it as a non-negotiable that this search screw up his shot to be in the playoffs and compete for a national championship. Now, there is a balance there. Like West Virginia's got a search going on right now. UCF's got a search going on right now. They're probably a little more aggressive and a little further down the road than North Carolina, but those are the kinds of jobs where if you take one of those candidates, there's probably a compromise where, hey, if you're in the playoff, by all means, stay where you are, compete as long as you can, but we do need you to meet us in the middle, i.e. when Scott Frost took the Nebraska job when he was at UCF. We need you to meet us in the middle, and we need to be able to announce it. And then it's just kind of your swan song, and however far you get in the playoffs, however far you get. But we got the portal open in December 9th. So we've got to have answers. We got to have something to tell people, and we got to have a future to be able to sell them. Some guys are on board with that. Some guys wouldn't be on board with that. So we'll see. 9 days, though, this has gone on with Mack Brown being gone. And you'll notice this is another good point Ben Sherman made. I was reading some of his work earlier today, and he's right about this. North Carolina is a really strong brand. It's a really strong institution. And the way you know that is no major players have left yet. You got guys entering the portal all over the place. And look at North Carolina. There's some good players on that roster. Don't be fooled by the lack of results. There's some good players on that roster, and no one's left yet. And that's not by accident. Like Pat Suttas and the guys behind the scenes over there, they know what they're doing. I feel the same way about North Carolina kind of as I've felt about Florida. Just because you look at them in the moment and you think maybe the head coach isn't the right guy and they're not getting the job done on the field, doesn't mean top to bottom everything about the program is wrong. Both of those programs, I know fairly intimately, are staffed with some really, really good home run hitters, guys and girls who would be in demand at many, many other high-level institutions that are currently winning. And so you have to do a healthy assessment of that if you're going to look to take the job. But also you're looking and you're saying, wow, is the roster getting rated? Oh, wow, they're not running everywhere like an anthill that's been kicked over. They're sticking around. Well, that could bode well for me. Much more to come on this.